Okay, let's focus on the actual Champions League final then, gents. Liverpool against Real Madrid in Paris. What an epic battle this should be. Let's focus on some key battles tactically, break it down, because Liverpool are really feeling this, Andy. Mohamed Salah's come out and said that everyone at the club wanted to play Real Madrid to get some revenge for their final defeats in the past. Jurgen Klopp has said it felt like destiny to be playing Real Madrid in this final. What are your thoughts on that and those kind of comments? Because are Liverpool getting a little bit too ahead of themselves? Because this is a Real team that we've seen beat PSG, Chelsea, and Man City to the finals. So it feels like this is, or like you said as well, destiny's maybe in Real Madrid's favour heading into this final.
Yeah, my first question is, can you get revenge against a shirt? Because a lot of the names and players are not still there that were there 4 or 5 years ago now when they beat Liverpool in the Champions League final. So it's not quite the same thing. And I don't think any of us would say that this is as talented or as heralded of a Real Madrid team as it was back then. It's a very different team and obviously very successful for the teams that they've gone through to get to this final. I think the most interesting kind of, tactical bit of what this matchup is going to be is just the stark difference between Manchester City and Liverpool, the way that they play, the pace that they play with or don't play with, how much possession and everything, the counterattacking. I think that will give Real Madrid a lot more trouble, probably because I think they're used to playing against teams that want to counterattack against them. Now, not with the quality that Liverpool have in that front three and the front four and the front five that they can bring those guys off the bench. But I just think, I actually think tactically the matchup favors Real Madrid just a little bit because they're really solid in the center of midfield. Casemiro has become the new Pepe for Real Madrid. He is the new just kind of head figure of all CONCACAFing, if you will. And so it's just it's an interesting final because Real Madrid, for as good as Karim Benzema has been this season, the supply comes from everywhere. It comes from everywhere in that team. It comes from Vinicius. It comes from the fullbacks. It comes from central midfield. And so this is a team that really, I think, can beat you a lot of different ways, whereas Liverpool, we know exactly what they want to do to you every single time they get on the ball.
Nick, in terms of key individual battles, I'm thinking that let's kind of pick out 3 or 4 that we've got to keep an eye on for this final. The key one for me is Trent Alexander-Arnold against Vinicius, right? I mean, we all know how good Trent is going forward, but defensively, he's really going to be tested. And Vinicius has been, I know we all talk about Benzema's goals and how crucial that has been, and Modric and all the other key players for Real. But the fact that Vinicius has just been their go-to guy, both in La Liga and in the Champions League down the stretch, this is going to be a really tough individual battle for Trent, isn't it?
It is. I think what's ultimately funny about this game is there are a lot of ways. Andy brings up the midfield. Those are that and the Trent thing are the 2 things that I think really, really, really go in Real Madrid's favor. And my whole issue is I'm sitting here thinking there is absolutely no way, including if like a crazy injury happens, that I won't pick Liverpool to win this game. There's no way. It does feel like almost based out of mentality. We have the 2 teams that overwhelmingly and cartoonishly to me in a way that I think is humorous of the things. Trent Alexander-Arnold, look, they were not great again in the second leg against Villarreal. Both fullbacks and the defenders didn't have a really good time either. They're all terrific going forward at this point. They're all the sort of players who can move the needle, but I think he's trouble. I think the fact that you can put Kroos and Casemiro and whoever the heck else you want with them because they're so strong in the middle of the park gives them an advantage as well. It's hard to imagine Karim Benzema not scoring in this instance, getting 1 goal. And the chances are going to happen again. And what I saw out of Courtois, I feel like more people should be talking about some of the saves he made against Man City. So I honestly believe, totally forgot. Real Madrid, by the way, has beaten Liverpool like 4 times in a row, including in a 2-legged affair within the last year and a half. So I'm picking Liverpool despite all of that because of mystique. So tell me I'm wrong.
Real Madrid's the ultimate mystique pick, though, aren't they?
Sure.
Yeah. I think one very important thing that we have to keep an eye on is David Alaba. Is he going to be back in time for the final? Because I think if Nacho has to start against Liverpool, a much bigger center back, much more physical presence and aerial presence. That's not going to work great against Liverpool and the way that they play. If you've got Alaba, who started his career at left back, has played defensive midfield, has played central midfield, and is now kind of a center back, I think he will be able to track the runs and hand off guys to his partner, Eder Militao, there alongside him. So if he's able to get back for the final, and it seems like he should be, he was on the bench and with the team for the second leg on Wednesday, that will be really, really big. And we now essentially have to start counting down every single game and every single second of every game for these two teams and saying, no injuries, please. No new injuries. Let's get these teams to this final and have them fully healthy so that we can have the spectacle that it should be.
Yeah, that's very true, Andy. And of course, some of the other key individual battles, I'm looking at in midfield. You mentioned it there a few times, Nick. Fabinho against Modric, kind of struggling for the tempo. They might not be up against each other too much, but they're going to have to be on top of Modric, right? Liverpool, if they're going to control the tempo of this game. And he just seems to keep going and going and going. And the quality of him is unbelievable. But Nick, is that another key battle in that midfield area there?
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like that. It's such a cliche to say that center midfield is going to dictate what we see in a game, but it absolutely seems the case. I mean, is Klopp going to feel like he needs Jordan Henderson out there for some sort of emotional, this is our leader, this is our guy, because I get how that can work. And you guys know, I hate to sound like I'm always dogging this guy, but I don't think he's part. I think a guy like Keita is going to be so important because of the electric pace and sort of, I don't want to say wily, but just unpredictable nature that he can bring to the table. So you look at Modric and Kroos and Casemiro, could they have more experience? They could not. They could not have more high-end experience. It's very difficult to draw up a scenario where a midfield is more complete in terms of seen it all, done it all. And I think it will come down to guys like Liverpool. Yes, Fabinho can be and Thiago, right? These guys can be the people who know what they're doing and are very savvy, but it's going to come down to the freakish, breakneck, we can do anything nature of Liverpool. And I just don't know what that lineup is. It's going to be very interesting to see what Jurgen Klopp does.
It really is, isn't it, Andy? And I think one of the other key individual battles that we're all got our eye on is, can Virgil van Dijk keep Karim Benzema quiet? And that is going to be just an absolute monstrous battle between those two giants of the game.
Well, let's throw Ibrahima Konate in there as well. I think he's going to be a big part of that alongside Virgil van Dijk. It's probably going to take both of them really to – and what I've loved about Benzema in recent years is he's always been a really good goal scorer, but he has kind of rounded out his game just a little bit more. He's much better on the ball. He's much better when he drops into – not quite all the way into midfield, but in that little half space there in between the lines. That'll be something very key for Liverpool to keep track of as well, because where it gets really dangerous against teams like this, and we see it with Tottenham a lot with Harry Kane and the way that he plays, is when he drops in, the center backs go with him. It creates space in behind for the pass in, and Benzema's got a good range of passing. And so will they be disciplined to not be pulled out of position, let the midfield, whether it's going to be Jordan Henderson, whether it's going to be Fabinho, whoever it's going to be in that spot, hand him off, let him go, and just defensively communicate in a way that you only have to do against a few teams in the world, because there's so few of those center backs that are of that quality. And so, that's going to be an absolutely incredible battle between those two. I'm looking forward to every time the ball's crossed into the box, watching those two, or whether it's Konate or Van Dijk, go up in the air against Benzema. This is just, it aside from having Manchester City, Liverpool for the third time in a month and a half, I think this is about as perfect of a matchup for the final as we could have hoped for, because there's such a difference in style between the two teams. It feels like they're at very different points in their project as well, where weirdly Liverpool are the more kind of advanced team, because Madrid are going through a bit of a rebuild. They've got a lot of the older guys that are still around with a really young future core that's in place. And I think they're getting a lot of learning on the job experience during this run here. And so it's probably going to launch them into another really, really strong period of maybe dominance over Europe. So the storylines, there's an infinite number of storylines in this final, not even with glossing over the fact that they played in the final just 4 years ago.
Absolutely. Jurgen Klopp against Ancelotti. Ancelotti's already come out and said, well, I'm an Everton fan from my time being there, so I know all about Liverpool. I know about this club, and yeah, I feel like, as you mentioned there, we're going to see this final, these two teams deep in the Champions League for maybe the next 5-6 years. The way that Real, if they can continue to replace their experienced players with these quality youngsters, and then obviously Klopp recently signing a new contract at Liverpool, and just it seems like now is the next stage, almost the stage we didn't even know they had of their project there, and just utter dominance at home and in Europe. So there's so much I'm looking forward to this game in Paris, gents. Like Andy mentioned, it's going to be just a brilliant battle, both on and off the pitch, all the storylines swirling, two giants of Spain and England, and two giants of this competition who would just seem to thrive on the drama of what is a great Champions League tournament. And this season, I think, it's been right up there with one of the very, very best seasons we've ever had, just for drama alone, especially in the knockout stages. So over at Pro Soccer Talk and NBCSports.com, leading up to the final, during the final, after the final, the three gents you can see on the screen will have you covered with all the latest analysis and news from both Liverpool and Real Madrid. What a game that will be in Paris right at the end of May on Saturday, the 28th. The Stade de France, that is the place to be for the global game. Okay, gents, this does us for Pro Soccer Talk this week. Thanks so much for joining me. From here in Greece, I'm out of ouzo. No, that is water. I'm just joking. But I will speak to you all very soon. Thanks for watching, everyone, and enjoy the games this weekend.
Hi there, I'm Rebecca Lowe, studio host for NBC's coverage of the Premier League. Don't forget to hit subscribe to watch highlights all season long, and be sure to tune in for Premier League mornings every weekend at 7 a.m. Eastern. And for even more content, head over to Peacock, where we've got live games, original series, and a dedicated round-the-clock Premier League channel featuring studio shows, classic matches, and much more.